Hey everyone, today we have a really interesting lesson. I was asked if the expert curve modeling add-on could handle this kind of task. The task turned out to be quite interesting, demonstrating the capabilities of our add-on. So we decided to record a video tutorial. Let's start by modeling the shape of the lantern. I'll take a suitable primitive and adjust the shape. Let's turn on the magnet and set it straight. Let's delete the inner part. We don't need it. You will later understand why I chose this particular shape. Let's close the bottom part. The select point function allows you to move parts of an object without disturbing its structural connections. We used a magnet to align the top points. Let's update the origin on segments and curves. We just got the loop cut feature a couple of days ago. Let's put it to use. As a reminder, it only works with the curve work add-on. Select the segments and use the keyboard shortcut Ctrl+R. I recommend watching the instructions for this feature before using it. I'll include a link to the video. Yes, I think we should select points through segments. Let's extrude downwards and close the lid. I'll straighten out the dots a bit. Well, I think overall it should look something like this. Let's look at the mesh. There is too much mesh at the bottom. It can be adjusted later. We have a nice smooth curve here, but according to the instructions, it was straight. With pain in our hearts, we will straighten it out. Just go to Select Handle and change the handle type to Vector. I try to take it slow so that each action was clear. Now let's move on to the next steps. Everything should be parametric. I understand that. So we can control the model constantly, regardless of subsequent actions. Well, changing the grid is the easiest thing. It's a purely basic ECM function. The next step is Boolean operations. I don't think I've mentioned this before, but Boolean operations can be performed without applying an ECM model. Simply do this in modeling mode on the ECM object. This can be done using my Pro.Geo.Prim add-on, as it allows these operations to be performed using geometric node layers. I decided to take this thing. It will come in handy now. Simply select two objects and create a difference layer in the Pro.Geo.Prim add-on. Don't be afraid of the grid. It looks like this because we have a high resolution, and also when we add a layer, it is placed at the end of the modifiers, and at the end we have a subdivision. Of course, you can manually adjust the resolution on these segments. But basically, it's enough to just omit or disable the subdivision modifier. But when you do this, you will realize that you will need to add a chamfer before doing this so that you don't round off that part. Using Bevel is one of the following steps. Let's add a Bevel modifier. Since this is a modifier, we can also adjust it at any time. Let's tweak its settings a bit. This time, I recorded this video without a plan, so I can do everything without preparation and see what happens right away. Well, there are two options. Either set it up like this, or just disable subdivision. I think the easiest thing to do is to turn it off, and then it will be cleaner. Well, we can obviously move the Boolean in real time and make sure it doesn't get too close to the grid. We can also manage the entire mesh grid, which will help us reduce manual labor. Well, I think adding more segments to the Bevel modifier won't be difficult. We'll go further for now. It's more interesting there. To create this effect, we first need to add thickness to our object. Add a solidify modifier. Let's move it before the Bevel modifier. Let's duplicate the difference and change it a bit. Let's expand it to half the model. We got half a model, but without the inside. This is because the Boolean layer is below the thickness layer. Therefore, we select two objects and create another difference layer that will be after the solidify. To make it more even, we need to check the box here. I think we achieved this effect. Let's make the bevel rounded. The ECM object can still be edited and modified, including by curves. I think it can be considered that it remains a parametric object. You can go into curves mode and change the shape. When you return to modeling mode, all applied modifier layers will also accept all your changes in real time. I noticed that there is no top cover there. Let's remove it. I didn't quite understand the concept of the covers, but I think it wouldn't be difficult to remove a couple of segments and put them back if needed. Please share your thoughts in the comments, though. Most likely, these lower segments are not needed at all. Let's take a look at the mesh after application. Let's reduce the resolution here. I just noticed that one of the logical operations disappeared. Let me explain why. We removed the segments, and our model is no longer considered a closed structure. And here in Pro.Geo.Prim, we have Manifold Mode enabled, which only works with solid structures. So let's switch the mode to exact. Well, in order to have better shading on the cylinder, it is clear that some manipulations with the mesh will need to be done. I think everyone understands this. Today we looked at how to layer modifiers on ECM and how to work with it. If you found this lesson helpful, give it a like. I'd love to hear your comments. See you in the next video.